it's a new year, but the same me.
It's still gonna be you at the end of the year, but it's gonna probably, hopefully, if you put certain intentions in place, a better you. We've all been there. You aim high and then you crash hard. You're like, I'm gonna wake up at 5 a.m. every day and go to the gym and have a morning routine, and maybe you do it 2 days and then you get tired and then you feel like you can't get back on track again because you failed.
New Year's coming up. What do you feel about that? Like, what do you feel about the turning of the calendar, counting down and starting a new year?
I like a New Year moment.
I love
New
New Year's.
Year's. A fresh start. September always feels a little bit like that to me too. Like, just, I don't know, a chance to rethink life.
A reset, as some would say.
Yeah, I really like a New Year moment, and I think especially after those couple days after Christmas that are like a bit depressing, then you have like some excitement coming.
Yeah.
In the new year.
I think ever since I was a kid, I've really loved New Year's, and I find that that's carried to adulthood. Like, I've noticed that when I was younger, I was the classic kid where it's like the clock went down, and I was like, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe even 8. I'd say this is the first time I'm hugging my mom.
You
in the
were
new year.
like that?
This is the first time I'm showering. This is the first time I'm brushing my teeth in the new year.
That's so cute.
I remember probably for like 4 years straight, that was my thing. And
you just loved that.
Yeah, I just loved it.
Just love that concept.
It's 2004, and I'm showering for the first time. This is wild. I'm a new man. I love talking about the concept of New Year's because New Year's represent new potential.
Yeah.
A line that sometimes people say that I want to talk a bit about is this concept of new year, new me. And I think that for some people, they do become a new person, but a lot of times people, like the countdown happens, I don't know, 11:59, December 31st, and it flips to January 1, the same person. They have goals, new resolutions. February comes, March comes, April comes, all the way to December. And it's a new year, but the same me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that we're really good as people at getting inspired by others.
Getting excited.
But rarely does it turn into something that's an actual action.
Yeah.
So we want to share some tips as to how you can actually be that new you know, or maybe a change to you.
I like that.
I feel like
a transformed.
It's still going to be you at the end of the year, but it's going to probably, hopefully, if you put certain intentions in place, a better you, a more improved you.
I feel like this is really inspiring. We should call this like elevate yourself. A better you for 2025.
Yeah, all those things. Be inspired.
Before we start sharing the tips, you know what I wanted to share about is that feeling. I don't know if you've ever started a new journal at the same time you were starting a new year, or maybe some people have like agendas.
Yes.
But there's something about starting a new journal or new agenda that's like life-changing.
Yeah.
Can I just name that? Can we just talk about that feeling?
It does feel good. It does feel good to do those fresh starts, those pages. What could they be filled with this year?
Do families still have like hard copy calendars?
My parents do.
Because that was another thing. My parents would often hang a new calendar, and I was like, whoa.
What pictures are on it this year?
Instead of like outdoor themed, we're doing like basketball themed.
You like that
Anyways.
one, the basketball one?
Yeah, I love the basketball.
Because we have a kid now, do we need a calendar?
I think we need to evolve into that place. I think we're like baby parents.
We use Google calendars a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the parents of this generation. They use online calendars.
We need to get our son a device.
A device for his
An
Google
iPad
calendar.
just for his Google Calendar. Guys, we're not going to raise an iPad kid. That's our hope. That's our goal.
That's our goal for 2025.
That's really our only.
At the end of the day,
that's really our only parenting
our
goal.
One goal.
Don't raise an
Don't
iPad
raise
kid.
an iPad kid.
Anyways, we have some tips. The first tip is set the bar low. This is contrary to our personalities. It's contrary to what a lot of inspirational thinkers will say, a lot of people who are trying to motivate you to be your best self.
You're not usually drawn to a low bar.
Yeah.
You're
people
usually
say,
drawn to a high bar.
yeah, aim for the fences.
Yeah.
Set hard.
It's not exactly exciting to set the bar low, but it's realistic and it's doable. And if you set the bar low, then you have lots of room to raise it month after month after month.
I think that like this is to speak to the person who's like, I don't know. I don't write at all in 2024, but I want to start writing in January. And my goal by December is to write a book. It's like, that's not realistic. Maybe you're a person who's like, I want to start running. And so my disposition maybe is to sign up for a marathon in March. This tip is to like subvert that.
Yeah.
Because there's something in us that wants to aim high, and this is a good thing, but oftentimes it's not realistic.
Yeah, I feel like like we've all been there. You aim high and then you crash hard, and then you're like, I'm gonna wake up at 5 a.m. every day and go to the gym and have a morning routine, and maybe you do it 2 days, and then you get tired, and then you feel like you can't get back on track again because you failed.
Yeah.
It's just setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah. So set the bar low. Let's use an example. So if your goal for 2025 is to start meal prepping because you order too much, DoorDash or Skip the Dishes or whatever meal service provider you use, maybe you want to start with, instead of going like, oh, I'm going to prep 7 meals at the beginning of the week so that I have tons of options and I can invite friends over for meals.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to go, I'm actually going to prep 1 meal a week for January. Settle into that routine and then maybe up your meal prep to 2 meals a week.
Yeah, that's good.
I think this allows us to like ease into new habits. I think if you wanted to start working out, you don't work out at all, or maybe you work out 3 times a week and you want to double that.
I can share a personal one.
Do it.
A personal goal.
I love when you share personal goals, so I'm excited for this.
So for me right now in my life, I haven't worked out for a while because towards the end of my pregnancy, I was just kind of focused on trying to get the baby to come. So I was doing a lot of walking and stuff. And then now I'm postpartum, 6 weeks. So I'm kind of at that time where I'm going to start working out again. But I haven't been working out in so long. So like I have a temptation to be like, okay, I want to work out like 5 days a week and really get back into it. And I'm generally a pretty active person. So I'm like really excited to get back to working out. But I feel like because that's not realistic, especially with the baby and everything, I have to start small. So for me, what I'm going to start doing is really start out with 2 days a week. And for me, that seems low, but it's like maybe I just do that for 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, I raise it to 3 days a week.
Yeah, that's good.
And we're working on our schedules to be like, okay, how can we make this work? And so, yeah, that's my personal goal for the new year.
Yeah, that's good. And I think that like you could gradually raise in your goal setting. So you can gradually increase, for example, the amount of healthy meals you eat a day, or eat a week, or the amount of kilometers you run a week, or whatever. But you could also just like keep it at that low mark for the whole year, like
because that's still better than last year.
It's still better than last year. So it's like if you get 1% better next year, you're still getting better. And if you set the goal to be 1% better every year, if you're 30 now, by the time you're 45, you'll be a lot better.
Yeah, that's so true.
Not that that's a complex idea, but just how numbers work.
Yeah, it's just how it goes.
Second tip is set goals that make sense for you.
Yeah, so I think with this one, it's easy to get inspired by people and almost want to like copy exactly what they do. But they have their own life, their own set of challenges, their own set of like rhythms and everything like that. And so copying exactly what someone else does won't necessarily benefit you. So I think it's important to look at your life, to really sit down and be like, okay, maybe I have a fitness goal or health goal or a personal growth goal. And I see all these people around me doing it in their way, but how does it work for me? Yeah,
I totally agree. And in addition to that, I noticed that influencer kind of social media culture lends to the wanting to make your life look like someone else's. And I think that something that we have to remember is that a lot of people are curating their life and almost making it look marketable.
Yeah.
And so although it looks like they have clean meals, work out twice a day, are the best parents ever, all that stuff, it might not be reality. So that's why it makes that point of setting goals that work for you even more important, because only you know your challenges, only you know your rhythms, only you know the unique stresses that your life that you face in your life. So it's so important to set goals that don't mimic someone else's, but that work for you, and again, work towards pushing you to be that 1% better.
Yeah, and like when you say influencers, I think about how sometimes it seems like these influencers almost have like all the time in the day to do like a whole morning routine and a workout class and coffee with a friend, and it's like they aren't working a 9 to 5 like you might be, or they aren't working shift work. So it's unrealistic to desire that for yourself, because it's just not going to work for the way your life is set up, right?
Unless you're an influencer, of course.
Unless you're an influencer.
Or want to become one. Then there you go. Tip 3, have someone hold you accountable. I think that it's important for every goal to have almost like reinforcement to help you get to that goal. And I think people can sometimes be great reinforcement for that. I would encourage someone also, when you're finding the right person to hold you accountable, to find someone who would actually be good for that role and will take the role of holding you accountable seriously. For example, if you want to get better at limiting your sweets and you have a sweet tooth friend who is always urging you on and you're urging them on to have more sweets, they're probably not the best person to hold you accountable to that goal of having less sweets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or like another way it could look like is like if you want to read like 50 books this year, it's like join a book club.
Yeah.
Then you're held accountable to having actually read the book to the point where you can talk about it with people.
Yeah.
And I think accountability, like sometimes it can look like a person, but sometimes it looks like notifications on an app. Sometimes it looks like a club. Sometimes it looks like signing up for a workout class, because if you don't go, you have to pay $30 or whatever and you lose money. Like, I think accountability can look like a lot of different things.
Yeah. I agree.
I feel like in marriage, I feel like you've done a really good job at holding me accountable to just healthy rhythms in life. I feel like in marriage, your hope is that the person you're married to is helping you to become a better person. Not in like a toxic way, but that you're both kind of helping each other.
It's like reciprocal.
Yeah, like the old proverb goes, iron sharpens iron. And I think that's what marriage should be. And so it's a really beautiful thing when you're in a relationship that you can look back on and be like, wow, I used to be a person who could never imagine waking up early and getting stuff done. But now Daniel has made me see that that is possible for my life, and supported me in a bunch of different goals in that way.
Yeah, and I think that extends to friendships as well. Like, you'll notice that there's certain friends that you have that almost like inspire you to be the better version of yourself.
Yeah.
And some that don't necessarily make you worse, but almost better accommodate you remaining neutral. So this year might mean you choosing to spend more time with those friends that inspire you, and maybe a bit less, or tempering the amount of time that you spend with the friends that maybe keep you a bit more neutral and respect your goals.
Yeah, what's that saying? It's like you are the accumulation of the 5 people closest to you.
Yeah,
or
you
something?
are the average of your top 5 friends.
Yeah, and I feel like that is so true. It's so important to have good people in your life that are pushing you to be better, and making bettering yourself just normalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's so many people that it's like are shocked when you place things in your life to try to better yourself, and it's like you should have people in your life that it's like, oh, this is just normal. I'm doing that too. I'm on the same track as you.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
so true.
I feel like normalizing stuff like that is so important for like continuing on that path of growth.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot to be said in like the public discourse or pop culture about like be you, be your authentic self.
Yeah.
But yes, be you and be true to your personality, be your authentic self.
Yeah.
But your authentic self should also be a transforming version of you. Like you should always be changing.
Yeah.
It's like if someone bumped into me from high school, for example, and they saw that I was the exact same as when I was in grade 11 or 12, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Like I hope that they would say, oh, you're so like a lot of your personality, your love for life, your love for people, your love for fun is still the same, but you've improved as a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think I totally agree with you in the fact that we need to normalize becoming better and transforming that way.
I think too, it's like you're transforming, but I would argue that you're almost becoming more like you.
Yeah.
As you transform.
That's really good.
Like
I like
you're
that.
not changing to a different person. You're just stepping more into who you are, discovering yourself more, gaining more confidence
Yeah,
in who
I really
you
like
are,
that.
figuring more out what you like, what you don't like. Yeah.
That's really good. Well, as we head into 2025, I hope that this serves you. If you have any suggestions or tips that you adhere to as you prepare for a new year, make sure to drop that in the comments.
And if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. We'd love to have you with us for the new year. But with that, Happy New Year, happy holidays, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Happy New Year.